2020 through 2023 Volkswagen Atlas was rated the worst in class for reliability according to Consumer Reports. I would never buy a Volkswagen. Had loads of friends with them and they turned out to be electrical system nightmares.
Something shocking is happening inside repair shops across the country. Mechanics are reporting a growing wave of SUVs failing long before anyone expects, some breaking down as early as 35,000 to 40,000 miles. Engines seizing, transmissions collapsing, electronics going haywire, and owners blindsided by massive repair bills. Today, we're counting down the models showing the worst early life failure patterns, the ones experts say you should think twice about. Let's start the list, because the first few might surprise you. Number 7. Ford Explorer 2.3-liter EcoBoost. The Ford Explorer is a familiar face on American roads, but mechanics say the 2.3-liter EcoBoost versions are showing a worrying pattern of early wear, often before the odometer even touches 40,000 miles. At first glance, it feels like a solid, confident SUV. Smooth steering, a comfortable ride, and a modern cabin. But underneath that polished presentation, repair shops are seeing failures that appear far too early for a vehicle in this segment, and the issues are expensive when they hit. The biggest problem is the EcoBoost engine's internal stress. The 2.3-liter turbocharged engine is powerful for its size, but mechanics often see it running hotter than ideal, especially in city driving or long idle situations. Heat leads to premature gasket wear, carbon buildup, and, in severe cases, early turbo trouble. Drivers typically don't notice anything wrong at first, maybe a slight loss in power or rough idle. But by the time symptoms become obvious, the repairs are already costly. Blown head gaskets, leaking coolant, and carbon-clogged valves are some of the most common service tickets for Explorers in this age and mileage range. But the engine isn't the only weak point. The 10-speed automatic transmission used in many Explorer models has been a headache for both owners and technicians. The issue isn't always catastrophic failure. It's the small but frequent problems. Mechanics report harsh shifting, delayed gear engagement, and loud clunks during low-speed driving. These symptoms often show up at 25,000 to 35,000 miles, long before an SUV should be having major drivetrain concerns. If the problem progresses, drivers can experience slipping gears or outright transmission failure. Rebuilding or replacing this gearbox is one of the most expensive repairs you can face. Then there's the electrical system, an underrated but major concern. Explorers have a reputation for glitchy electronics, backup cameras cutting out, random warning lights, malfunctioning driver assist sensors, or the infotainment system freezing. Some mechanics even say the wiring harness and module placements make these issues more likely to appear early. These electrical problems rarely break the vehicle on their own, but combined with the other issues, they add to the repair frustration, especially when multiple faults stack up suddenly. Repair costs add up fast. A head gasket job or turbo repair can run between $2,000 and $5,000. Transmission rebuilds? Easily $4,000 to $6,000. Even the electrical problems can cost hundreds just to diagnose. And many owners report these problems showing up right after warranty expiration, which is why mechanics warn buyers to be cautious unless the vehicle's full service history is spotless. The Ford Explorer still has its strengths: good road presence, comfortable seating, solid towing capability, but the early mechanical and electrical issues make it a risky long-term option. This is a case where routine maintenance alone cannot prevent certain problems. The issues come from the design itself, meaning even responsible owners get caught off guard. If you're considering one, be very careful with models between 2019 and 2022, and definitely get a detailed pre-purchase inspection. Takeaway: the Explorer drives great when new, but the early engine stress, transmission quirks, and electrical faults make it one of the SUVs most likely to break before 40,000 miles. Number 6. Jeep Grand Cherokee 3.6-liter V6. The Jeep Grand Cherokee has always been marketed as a rugged, capable SUV, something that combines comfort with off-road confidence. But mechanics are seeing a very different story under the hood, especially with models running the 3.6-liter Pentastar V6. While this engine has earned praise in some vehicles, its behavior inside the Grand Cherokee is far less consistent. Early life issues, unexpected component failures, and a surprising number of drivetrain complaints make this SUV far riskier than it appears. One of the most common problems mechanics report is premature engine ticking, often caused by failing rocker arms and lifters. These components help the engine breathe and maintain proper timing, but in many Grand Cherokees, they wear out at just 20,000 to 35,000 miles. At first, the sound is faint, just a light tapping during idle, but it quickly turns into a noticeable mechanical knock. Left untreated, this can escalate into camshaft damage, leading to repair bills that easily climb past $2,000 or more. It's the kind of early failure pattern that shouldn't be appearing in a mid-size SUV known for its price and reputation. The 8-speed automatic transmission also appears frequently on repair orders. On paper, this gearbox should be one of the most efficient in the segment, but owners report hard shifts, delayed engagement, and sudden bangs when shifting into drive or reverse. Mechanics often find that early valve body wear, software glitches, or solenoid failures are to blame. These problems usually start showing between 25,000 and 40,000 miles. If ignored, they can lead to full transmission failure, a repair that often costs between $4,000 and $7,000. Then there's the electrical system, something Jeep has struggled with for more than a decade. Grand Cherokees from recent model years have been reported to suffer from random warning lights, failing air suspension modules, faulty fuel pumps, glitchy infotainment units, and intermittent sensor failures in driver assist systems. Mechanics frequently point out that moisture intrusion and poorly protected wiring harness connections contribute to these early electronics issues. Even when the repair is simple, the diagnostics can be extremely time-consuming. Another major concern is the cooling system, where water pumps and thermostats fail much earlier than expected. A leaking water pump at 30,000 miles is surprisingly common, and if the overheating isn't caught immediately, the engine can suffer long-term damage. Jeep owners often complain about fluctuating temperatures, unexplained coolant loss, or fans running excessively loud, all hints that something is failing behind the scenes. Cooling issues can quickly turn minor repairs into major mechanical breakdowns if not addressed quickly. Repair costs add up fast with this SUV. A rocker arm replacement can cost $800 to $1,500. Transmission repairs escalate into thousands. Electrical diagnoses often lead to hundreds in labor alone. And when these problems stack up, they turn what should be a dependable SUV into a stressful ownership experience long before the 40,000-mile mark. This is especially frustrating because the Grand Cherokee drives very well when new. The cabin feels upscale, the ride is smooth, and the power delivery is strong. Many owners love the vehicle during the first year or two. The trouble is that the reliability doesn't match the experience. Mechanics repeatedly warn that the early rocker arm wear, electrical gremlins, and transmission issues are too common to ignore. Takeaway: the Grand Cherokee delivers great performance and comfort, but the early mechanical failures, especially noisy valve train issues and unreliable electronics, make it a high-risk SUV well before 40,000 miles. Number 5. Chevrolet Traverse. The Chevrolet Traverse is known for its spacious cabin and comfortable ride, but mechanics say it hides some serious early-life mechanical problems, many appearing before 40,000 miles. Families often buy this SUV for its practicality and smooth driving experience, unaware that some of the components inside it struggle under real-world conditions. From engine troubles to transmission failures, the Traverse has earned a reputation in repair shops that doesn't match its friendly appearance. The most troubling issue is the 3.6-liter V6 engine, which has a history of premature timing chain stretch. This isn't a small problem. The timing chain is responsible for synchronizing the engine's internal parts, and when it wears early, the engine starts running unevenly. Drivers may notice rough starts, misfires, or the check engine light flickering on. These symptoms often appear around 25,000 to 35,000 miles, long before timing components should even be on the radar. If ignored, the chain can skip teeth, causing severe internal damage. Repairing or replacing timing components often costs $2,000 to $3,500, depending on the region. The 9-speed automatic transmission is another major point of concern. Mechanics regularly report harsh shifting, hesitation when accelerating, and delayed response at low speeds. In some cases, the transmission slips between gears or refuses to downshift smoothly, making the SUV feel sluggish or unpredictable in traffic. These issues often begin between 20,000 and 40,000 miles, shockingly early for such a critical component. Some vehicles require software updates, but others need torque converter replacements or full transmission rebuilds. Those repairs can easily run into the $4,000 to $6,000 range. Then there's the electronic system, which has frustrated both owners and mechanics. Traverse models often experience malfunctioning infotainment units, faulty sensors, intermittent warning lights, and electrical accessories that stop working without explanation. Some mechanics point out that poor grounding, wiring harness issues, and moisture intrusion contribute to these problems. While electrical glitches may not disable the vehicle immediately, they create ongoing headaches and can lead to costly diagnostics. Tracking down a wiring fault in a modern SUV can take hours, sometimes more than the actual repair. But perhaps the most overlooked early issue is the Traverse's cooling and AC system. Water pumps, thermostats, and AC compressors have been known to fail prematurely. Some owners report overheating while driving at low speeds or while idling in traffic. An overheating event, even a short one, can accelerate timing chain wear, damage gaskets, or create long-term engine problems. Mechanics often mention that these failures appear alongside transmission issues, making the SUV feel like a continuous cycle of repairs. Even suspension components aren't spared. Traverse models have been known to wear through front struts and sway bar links sooner than expected. This leads to rattling noises, uneven tire wear, and a bumpy ride long before typical mileage. All of this is frustrating because the Traverse has a lot of positive qualities. It rides well, offers great interior space, and feels smooth on the highway. Many owners love the comfort and practicality, especially for long-distance travel. But the underlying mechanical concerns make it a risky choice for anyone expecting long-term reliability. The engine, transmission, and electronics simply don't hold up the way they should for an SUV in this class. Takeaway: the Chevrolet Traverse might look appealing on the surface, but its early timing chain wear, unreliable transmission, and electrical issues make it one of the SUVs most likely to break before 40,000 miles. Number 4. Volkswagen Atlas. The Volkswagen Atlas looks like a confident, family-ready SUV, but mechanics say it has some of the most concerning early failure patterns in the midsize category. Despite its bold styling and comfortable interior, the Atlas is notorious in repair shops for problems that appear far earlier than expected, many showing up well before the 40,000-mile mark. What's surprising is that these issues affect both the 4-cylinder and V6 models, making the problem more widespread than most buyers realize. The biggest red flag is the timing chain system. Mechanics frequently report premature chain stretch and tensioner wear, especially in Atlas models equipped with the 2.0-liter turbo engine. Timing components should last well into six-figure mileage, but with the Atlas, warning signs often show up around 25,000 to 35,000 miles. Drivers may notice rough idling, rattling noises during cold starts, or sluggish acceleration. If the chain stretches too far, the engine can fall out of sync, leading to catastrophic internal damage. A timing chain replacement on a Volkswagen engine is no small job. It typically costs between $2,000 and $4,000. Another major issue lies with the cooling system, which includes early water pump failures, thermostat malfunctions, and coolant leaks from plastic housings. Mechanics often describe the Atlas cooling components as fragile, especially considering the weight and size of the SUV. Overheating incidents have been reported at surprisingly low mileage. Even one overheating event can warp engine components, damage head gaskets, or accelerate wear on other internal parts. Some owners have reported needing multiple cooling system components replaced within the first 3 years. But perhaps the most frustrating problem is the electrical system, something that Volkswagen models have struggled with for years. The Atlas is packed with sensors, modules, and advanced driver assist electronics, and when they work beautifully. But when they don't, diagnostics can become a nightmare. Mechanics often see random warning messages, failing backup cameras, glitchy digital dashboards, malfunction in radar sensors, and intermittent power window or locking system issues. The Atlas wiring harnesses are tucked tightly behind complex body panels, making repairs extremely labor-intensive. Transmission issues also appear earlier than expected. The Atlas uses an 8-speed automatic transmission, and while it feels smooth when new, problems start showing early. Hard shifts, delayed acceleration, harsh downshifts, and sudden jerking are commonly reported around 30,000 to 40,000 miles. Some of these issues can be temporarily improved with software updates, but many require internal repairs that cost thousands. Torque converter failures have also been reported. which is especially concerning for an SUV in this price bracket. Suspension components also wear faster than they should. Mechanics often see premature failure of sway bar links, strut mounts, and control arm bushings. This creates rattling noises, uneven tire wear, and a decline in ride comfort long before the vehicle reaches midlife. Combine that with the Atlas's heavier body, and the wear becomes even more noticeable. All of these problems make ownership unpredictable, even for drivers who keep up with maintenance. The Atlas can be enjoyable when new, smooth, spacious, quiet, but the long-term reliability simply isn't there. Mechanics agree that the combination of early timing chain wear, cooling system fragility, and electrical complexity make it one of the riskiest SUVs for early failures. Takeaway: the Volkswagen Atlas delivers great space and comfort, but its early timing chain issues, cooling system breakdowns, and electrical failures make it one of the SUVs most likely to run into serious trouble before 40,000 miles. Number 3. Nissan Rogue CVT models. At first glance, the Nissan Rogue seems like a safe, sensible, fuel-efficient SUV. It's comfortable, easy to drive, and widely available, which makes it incredibly popular. But mechanics consistently warn that Rogue models equipped with Nissan's continuously variable transmission, CVT, are some of the most failure-prone vehicles long before hitting 40,000 miles. The problems aren't random. They're part of a long-running pattern that shops have been seeing for more than a decade. The biggest and most well-known issue is the CVT overheating and failing prematurely. Unlike traditional automatic transmissions, CVTs rely on a belt and pulley system that must constantly adjust to provide smooth acceleration. The problem is that these systems build heat quickly, especially during stop-and-go driving. Mechanics report that the Rogue's CVT cooling system simply isn't robust enough to handle real-world conditions. By 20,000 to 35,000 miles, many owners start experiencing sudden loss of power, jerking, shaking, or delayed response when accelerating. In more severe cases, the transmission enters limp mode, where it refuses to go above a certain speed. When the CVT starts showing these symptoms, it's often too late to save it. A full replacement can cost between $3,000 and $5,000, which is shockingly high for an SUV in this category. Some drivers even report needing more than one CVT replacement over the life of the vehicle. Mechanics frequently describe the Rogue's CVT as a ticking time bomb, not because every unit fails, but because the risk is significantly higher than average in early mileage. Engine issues also contribute to early failure patterns. The 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine is generally decent, but it struggles under high load when paired with the CVT. Mechanics often see early oil leaks, worn seals, and carbon buildup forming on the intake valves. These issues can lead to rough idling, reduced acceleration, and frequent check engine lights. When combined with CVT strain, the engine can feel underpowered and stressed, especially when merging or climbing hills. The stress accelerates wear on both systems, causing problems earlier than expected. The electrical system is another trouble spot. Rogues are known to suffer from sensor failures, especially the mass airflow sensor, throttle body sensors, and ABS wheel sensors. These failures often trigger warning lights that confuse drivers and lead to multiple shop visits. Some mechanics also report issues with wiring harness corrosion, which causes intermittent faults that are expensive to diagnose. Suspension components wear out too fast as well. Front struts, sway bar links, and control arms often need replacement by 30,000 to 40,000 miles. This leads to clunking noises, a looser steering feel, and uneven tire wear. For an SUV often chosen as a family vehicle, these early suspension issues are especially frustrating. Owners often complain that the early problems appear suddenly. One week, the Rogue feels perfectly normal, and the next, it's shaking during acceleration or refusing to shift smoothly. Because CVT issues don't always show up gradually, the repair bills can arrive without warning. Even regular maintenance doesn't fully prevent these failures, because the weak point is the design of the transmission itself, not driver behavior. What makes this extra concerning is that the Rogue is still marketed as a dependable, low-cost SUV. In reality, the long-term reliability is heavily compromised by the CVT, and mechanics repeatedly caution buyers to be extremely careful with used CVT-equipped Rogues. Even low-mileage units are not guaranteed to be trouble-free. Takeaway: the Nissan Rogue's CVT is its biggest downfall, with overheating, shaking, and failure often appearing before 40,000 miles. Combined with engine strain, sensor issues, and suspension wear, this SUV carries one of the highest early failure risks in its class. Number 2. Hyundai Santa Fe Turbo Models. The Hyundai Santa Fe has grown in popularity because of its strong value, stylish design, and comfortable ride. But mechanics say the turbocharged versions, especially the 2.0-liter and 2.5-liter turbo engines, are showing a pattern of failures far earlier than they should. While the non-turbo models hold up reasonably well, the turbo variants push their components harder, and that strain starts revealing itself long before 40,000 miles. What looks like a smooth, capable SUV on the surface can very quickly turn into a high-risk ownership experience. The biggest and most alarming problem is premature engine wear, especially related to the turbo system. Turbocharged engines operate under high heat and pressure, and the Santa Fe's smaller displacement turbo motors tend to run hotter than ideal. Mechanics frequently see early signs of carbon buildup, oil consumption, and in some cases, bearing wear inside the turbocharger itself. Symptoms often show up at 15,000 to 35,000 miles, much earlier than expected. Owners report sudden loss of power, engine knocking, smoke from the exhaust, or the check engine light appearing out of nowhere. If the turbo fails completely, the repair bill can reach between $2,000 and $4,500. But it doesn't stop there. The Santa Fe has been part of a broader issue involving engine seizure risks, especially within Hyundai and Kia's family of four-cylinder engines. While not every Santa Fe is affected, the turbo engines are more susceptible to oil starvation, early rod bearing wear, and metal debris circulating through the engine. Mechanics have seen engines lock up before even hitting 40,000 miles. The root cause often comes down to oil flow problems, internal friction hotspots, or manufacturing debris from production. When these issues strike, the only fix is usually a complete engine replacement. The dual-clutch transmission, DCT, used in some turbo Santa Fe variants also causes early life headaches. While the DCT provides quick shifts on paper, it is extremely sensitive in real-world conditions, especially in heavy traffic. Mechanics report jerky acceleration, hesitation from a stop, shuddering at low speeds, or sudden loss of power when the system overheats. These symptoms often start around 15,000 to 25,000 miles. Many owners describe it as stalling without stalling, The SUV moves, but hesitates so badly that it feels unsafe in intersections. Transmission control modules, clutches, and sensors often need replacement, and costs can exceed $2,000. Electronics are also a weak point. Santa Fe models suffer from intermittent failures in the collision avoidance sensors, blind spot monitors, and radar-based systems. Mechanics say the sensor calibration is highly sensitive, and even small alignment issues or moisture intrusion cause warning lights, system shutdowns, or inconsistent performance. Infotainment glitches, touchscreen freezes, and backup camera errors appear often as well. These aren't catastrophic failures, but combined with mechanical issues, they create a frustrating ownership experience early in the vehicle's life. The cooling system also contributes to early wear. Water pumps and thermostats fail more frequently in the turbo engines, especially in hotter climates. When cooling components fail, overheating can happen quickly, sometimes before the driver realizes anything is wrong. Overheating is especially dangerous for turbo engines because it accelerates damage to bearings, turbines, and internal seals. Even the suspension shows premature wear. Struts, bushings, and stabilizer links often start making noise between 25,000 and 40,000 miles. Drivers notice rattling over bumps, loose steering, and uneven tire wear, all signs that the suspension components aren't holding up as they should. The Santa Fe turbo models are appealing when new. They offer strong acceleration, a refined cabin, and an upscale feel. But mechanics repeatedly warn that the turbo engines and DCT transmissions simply don't deliver long-term reliability. The early failures are too common, the repairs too expensive, and the risks too high for anyone looking for dependability. Takeaway: the Hyundai Santa Fe turbo models may look impressive, but their early turbo failures, engine wear, DCT issues, and electrical inconsistencies make them one of the most problematic SUVs before 40,000 miles. Number 1. Jeep Compass, 2.4-liter Tiger Shark engine. Topping the list is the Jeep Compass, particularly the models equipped with the 2.4-liter Tiger Shark engine, an engine so infamous among mechanics that many refuse to recommend this SUV altogether. While the Compass looks stylish, drives comfortably, and offers good visibility, the early-life mechanical issues are severe, widespread, and shockingly common. Many of these problems appear well before 40,000 miles, catching owners by surprise and leading to thousands in unexpected repairs. The most notorious issue is the engine's excessive oil consumption, a problem mechanics say is practically built into the design. The 2.4-liter Tiger Shark engine burns oil at an alarming rate, sometimes a quart every 1,000 miles, even with normal driving. The problem is caused by poor piston ring sealing, sloppy internal tolerances, and weak PCV system ventilation. Owners often don't realize anything is wrong until the low oil warning appears, or worse, the engine starts knocking. Some engines even seize completely because they run out of oil between changes. This kind of failure at 20,000 to 35,000 miles is simply unacceptable for a modern SUV. What makes the situation even worse is that the engine doesn't always show obvious symptoms until the oil is already dangerously low. Mechanics often say that by the time the owner hears ticking, tapping, or rough idling, internal wear is already happening. Replacing a seized engine can cost $4,000 to $7,000, depending on location. Even minor oil consumption repairs can reach $1,000 to $2,000, and these repairs don't always fix the root cause. The 9-speed automatic transmission is another major weak point. Compass models have been known to shift inconsistently, hesitate during acceleration, or jerk suddenly at low speeds. Many owners describe the transmission as feeling confused or unpredictable. These problems often start as early as 15,000 miles. Mechanics frequently see issues with the valve body, clutch packs, and software calibration. The transmission can also enter limp mode, leaving the vehicle unable to accelerate normally. Repair costs range from $800 for minor fixes to $5,000 for major internal repairs or replacement. The Compass also struggles with electrical system failures, something common across multiple Jeep models. Mechanics often see malfunctioning sensors, random warning lights, intermittent power loss to accessories, and glitchy infotainment behavior. The biggest concern is the failure of critical components like crankshaft position sensors or fuel pump control modules, which can cause sudden stalling. Electrical failures are unpredictable, often intermittent, and difficult to diagnose, leading to repeated shop visits. Cooling system issues appear early as well. Compass models are known for premature water pump failures, thermostat malfunctions, and coolant leaks from plastic housings. Even minor cooling issues can accelerate engine wear, especially in a motor already prone to oil starvation. Mechanics say that overheating events, even brief ones, can lead to warped components or early gasket failure. Suspension wear is also common before 40,000 miles. Strut mounts, sway bar links, and front control arms often loosen or fail faster than expected. Drivers report clunking noises over bumps, loose steering feel, and uneven tire wear. For a compact SUV that's supposed to be easy to maintain, this level of early suspension wear is disappointing. The most frustrating part is that the Compass looks like a great choice when new. The interior feels modern, the ride is smooth, and the handling is surprisingly good for a Jeep. But mechanics consistently say that underneath the comfort, the long-term reliability simply isn't there. The combination of oil consumption issues, transmission problems, electrical failures, and cooling system weaknesses makes this SUV one of the highest-risk models in its class, especially before reaching 40,000 miles. Even for careful drivers who follow every maintenance guideline, the Tiger Shark engine's oil consumption and the 9-speed transmission's instability make failures extremely likely. Some owners go years without major issues, but the percentage of early failures is too high for mechanics to ignore. Takeaway: the Jeep Compass may look appealing, but its extreme oil consumption, unpredictable transmission, and early electrical and cooling failures make it the SUV most likely to break before 40,000 miles, earning it the #1 spot on this list. Before you make any big SUV decision, remember this: early failures don't happen by accident. They come from design flaws, poor quality components, rushed engineering, and systems that simply weren't built to last. The models on this list might look great on the surface: good styling, decent cabins, smooth driving, but what happens underneath is what truly matters. When engines burn oil before 30,000 miles, when transmissions hesitate, and when electronics fail without warning, the repair costs pile up fast. If you're considering one of these SUVs used, always get a full pre-purchase inspection. Check for transmission service records, look closely at oil consumption history, and never buy a vehicle with warning lights or shifting issues. A simple test drive is not enough. These problems often reveal themselves only under load or after warming up. Most importantly, don't get pressured by dealerships pushing quick sales. Take your time, compare options, and choose a model known for long-term durability. Avoiding the wrong SUV today can save thousands tomorrow. And if you want more breakdowns like this, make sure to check out the next video.